It is no secret that Gran Turismo 7 has been going through a PR crapfest after Sony, PlayStation, and Polyphony decided to get way too greedy with their implementation of microtransactions, and after the discovery of a DRM that doesn't grant you access to even the single-player modes when you're offline, which is why you'll see the user score at a measly 1.7, even lower than it was when I last checked. It was at a 1.8. I actually saw this number dip to a 1.6 at one point. It's gone back up to 1.7, and now that the developers have responded explaining how they plan to make it up to players, we'll see where the user score goes. But for now, the sentiments are very negative, to the point where Gran Turismo 7 is currently the 64th lowest user-rated game in Metacritic's history, which is obviously not a good look. And this is as a result of increased microtransactions prices. I mean, exorbitant increases. And on top of that, they vastly diminish the rate at which you earn rewards, the rate at which you earn credits, making it a lot harder to earn cars in Gran Turismo 7 after a patch that followed the review process. The reviewers didn't have access to this patch and the microtransactions. So as far as they were concerned, the game was fine and well. After the game came out, that's when this patch came out, which added the microtransactions and exorbitantly increased the prices, diminished the rewards, and that makes Gran Turismo 7 the worst in terms of how many hours you have to play to earn some of the most expensive vehicles in the game. The only reason Gran Turismo 5 is in last place is because the game is currently dead right now. It's not giving out daily login bonus and various boost to credits earnings. So Gran Turismo 7 really is the most egregious when it comes to the grind that it requires, thereby encouraging players to go to the store to mitigate that grind by spending real money on the cars rather than having fun through the game and unlocking cars that way. And then when it comes to DRM, it's led to a situation where shortly after the game's launch, there was a 30-hour outage, which started as maintenance for online servers, but the conversation devolved when people realized that even the single-player modes are locked behind an online connection. So for 30 hours, players who bought the game could literally not play the game in any capacity. It didn't help that the developers' response was less than adequate. They explained what went wrong behind the scenes during the outage, but they never addressed the DRM aspect, the fact that even single-player modes are locked behind an internet connection. And then their excuse for how much more expensive cars are in GT7 is that they wanted to simulate real-life car culture, except as explained by this Jalopnik article here, Yamauchi says that he believes it's important for cars to be linked with their real-world values, except we play games to exist in a world where we can drive these cars. Why on earth would you want to simulate the aspect of you need to be exorbitantly rich to be able to drive or afford these cars? And so that's why people are complaining online. On Reddit, you'll see plenty of people outlining how we have to play GT7 to drive these unattainable, beautiful cars. We aren't billionaires. Plenty of people on Twitter are complaining about how egregious the microtransactions are. I mean, I can go through a bunch of these coming from influencers, from prominent figures in prominent media outlets, like Tom Warren here from The Verge, or John Lindman from Digital Foundry. You've got Lance McDonald, a prominent modder, speaking out. You've got developers speaking out. Grid Legends made fun of this situation. You've got various enthusiasts outlining just what an issue the in-game currency handling of GT7 is. And you will see tons of posts online explaining that GT7 really tanked the reputation of this racing game series, and people are being encouraged to continue being vocal, continue speaking out until this stuff is changed. Other ways people are rebelling is, for example, players fighting the unpopular nerf of the credits, rewards, earnings by grinding currency without playing the game, essentially taking advantage of remote play and running a script on the PC that will automatically play the game for you so you can earn credits while away from the controller from the game. And there's a real tool found on the PSN Profiles forums. You can see here the instructions on how to run this if you so desire. Since then, we have heard back from the developers and from Kaz Yamauchi himself, who tweeted, "First steps in on addressing the issues and fixing the problems with the game and making it up to the community, and linked to a Gran Turismo official Twitter page post that links to an official PlayStation blog post that outlines the upcoming changes. And here it is, published on March 25th, 2022. The headline reads, Gran Turismo 7, an update from Polyphony Digital. And this was written by Kazunori Yamauchi, president of Polyphony Digital. Here's what he had to say. Your voices have not gone unheard. Your typical, we are listening to feedback, except if you have been listening to feedback for the past, not just couple of months, but years, you would have known not to pull something like this, because this isn't the first game or the first time this kind of backlash has happened as a result of similar forms of microtransactions implementations, diminishing of in-game rewards, and DRM implementations. You're listening to us now because the backlash got so bad, but you decided to ignore the history of games backlash surrounding microtransactions and decided to test the waters and see if you could get away with it. I'm just sick and tired of hearing we're listening to the feedback when the feedback shouldn't be required for companies to know that stuff like this is plain and simply wrong. I'd like to apologize for the frustration and confusion caused last week with our patch updates, which resulted in not only a server outage but also adjustments to the in-game economy, which were made without a clear explanation to our community. There is no confusion surrounding the intentions behind this. You wanted to maximize profit by compromising the integrity of the game and by taking advantage of players, by exploiting your customer base. The only confusion is, why on earth would a studio that has such a legendary track record tank their reputation and flush it down the toilet in one day by implementing something they know will get tons of backlash, doing something they know is wrong? Well, the answer to that, simple greed can make one do very stupid things. The statement continues, we know that this is not the Gran Turismo experience you expect, and we will be making a goodwill gesture in the form of a non-paid credit pack of 1 million credits available to those players who may have been affected. You will see this hit your account shortly. Make sure you log into the game before April 25th to claim the credits. So 1 million credits, that's roughly $10 worth of microtransactions, and while that will net you some of the lower to mid-tier vehicles, when it comes to higher-end vehicles, the coveted vehicles, which cost 3 million credits, more even in some scenarios, with some of the legendary vehicles costing up to 20 million credits, 1 million suddenly looks pretty meager. It's really not a whole lot in terms of rewards. Is it better than nothing? Yes, but it's still, in the grand scheme of things, feels kind of stingy. The blog post then attempts to provide an explanation and excuse behind the adjustments to the in-game economy. The patch update previously deployed was intended to rectify an issue with inconsistent reward payouts within a part of the World Circuit events, but to reestablish the intended equilibrium and provide more accurate rewards based on time investment and completion, it was necessary to recalculate the reward system as a whole. That is such BS. The version that reviewers played, where the rewards weren't nerfed, they had a good time with that version of the game, and that's the version of the game that players and customers didn't get, since after launch you decided to change up the in-game economy with a post-launch patch that you obviously knew would be received negatively based on the fact that you kept it hidden from reviewers and only released it after the reviews gave you those glowing reviews. What they really mean by inconsistent reward payouts is payout that was too generous for their monetization goals, for the amount of money that they wanted to rake in through its live service schemes. What a whole lot of BS alleging intended equilibrium when all the patch did was throw the equilibrium off completely. Now, the blog post does outline how they plan to increase in-game rewards after the complaints. We'll be rolling out a considerable patch in the beginning of April. The number of events will be increased, and we'll reestablish the reward system with greater balance throughout the game to benefit all players. And among the elements that will change come April include increased rewards in the events in the latter half of the world circuits by approximately 100% on average, addition of high rewards for clearing the circuit experience in all gold, all bronze results, increase of rewards in online races, include a total of 8 new 1-hour endurance race events to missions. These will also have higher reward settings, so just across the board, increased rewards and more activities to be able to partake in order to earn the credits you require to purchase vehicles, which is the main draw of the game. We'll see once the patch is implemented what a long way it goes to rebalancing the game so that the rewards earning rate feels fair. Now, here's a bullet point that really gets me. Another plan is to increase the upper limit of non-paid credits in player wallets from 20 million credits to 100 million credits. Hold on a minute. You're telling me this whole time there's been an upper limit when it comes to how many credits players can hoard? It is specifically highlighted here, upper limit of non-paid credits, which means that you can purchase an unlimited number of credits, but you cannot store past 20 million credits before, which has now been increased to 100 million credits. The fact that an upper limit exists at all for how many credits players can store, specifically the credits you earn in-game, but no such limit exists for paid credits, goes to highlight how much more they want to emphasize players paying their way through this experience rather than having fun and playing their way through the experience. Yes, there's a substantial increase, but fuck off with any upper limit whatsoever for non-paid credits. Get that out of here. And then for the final bullet point, increase the quantity of used and legend cars on offer at any given time, which should hopefully make it easier for players to find the vehicles that they desire. The blog post then outlines additional patches coming between now and the end of April, which will add new cars and course layouts and make some other fixes which have been highlighted here. Some near-term updates that they're working on, which don't have an exact release date yet, include increase the payout value of limited time rewards as we develop as a live service. Develop as a live service. There's a phrase that always gives me a bad feeling. Further World Circuit event additions, addition of endurance races to missions, including 24-hour races, addition of online time trials, and awarding of rewards according to the player's difference with the top ranked time. And finally, make it so cars can be sold. Oh yeah, that's another thing. On top of exorbitantly increasing microtransactions prices and exorbitantly diminishing the progression rate and the rate at which you earn credits in the game, coincidentally, it so happens that in Gran Turismo 7, you cannot sell your cars, at least at launch. Conveniently, one of the best ways for players to earn credits was removed from this latest release, which also happens to have the worst monetization model in the series. What a coincidence. Not only is it egregious because it goes hand in hand with the microtransactions prices increase and the in-game rewards decrease, but also because the game promised that you'd have the ability to sell cars with the reintroduction of the legendary GT simulation mode, buy, tune, race, and sell your way through a rewarding solo campaign as you unlock new cars and challenges. The feature sorely absent from the worst Gran Turismo entry when it comes to in-game credits earnings in relation to the way cars are priced, so making it so that cars can be sold will certainly be a welcome addition and one that should have been there at launch on day one. And to close things off, the blog post concludes with, we want to thank you for your continued patience and valuable feedback as we grow and evolve GT7 to make it as enjoyable and rewarding for as many players as possible. Could have fooled me. Now, with all said and done, these are all obviously very positive changes, and hopefully they'll be enough so that the game can achieve that equilibrium that Polyphony claims they want to achieve, but it doesn't change the fact that we shouldn't have had to tell Polyphony that the way they launched the game, the way they implemented microtransactions, the way they diminished rewards, the way they disabled the ability to sell cars and all of these things, that it's all wrong and that they would give the impression that they did give off. We shouldn't have to be sitting here and going through yet another we're listening to feedback apology statement when the games industry should know better at this point, given that we have seen the same kind of backlash for similar types of game launches and scheme implementations throughout the past years. Now more than ever, it pisses me off when companies pretend like this is all a major surprise that the way they implemented microtransactions ended up blowing up in their faces, when they act like they're surprised that there's all this backlash, when they pretend it was a mistake when it was all intentional. They knew what they were getting into. They were just hoping the backlash wouldn't be bad enough that they have to backpedal all that much. and they're just risking it and testing the waters to see if they can get away with it. They're not really making an unintended mistake. They're hoping to get away with an intended transgression, which is why, while all of this is ultimately a very positive thing, I'm not going to applaud this. I'm not going to pat them on the back for undoing something they should have known is wrong and only undid the bad thing after they were called out on it, just like I wouldn't pat a robber on the back for giving back stolen items after they got caught. And there's also the added layer of PlayStation, Sony, and Polyphony outright ignoring complaints surrounding the single-player DRM. Remember back in E3 2013 when PlayStation boasted about them saying that PS4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play, which was met with thunderous, deafening applause during their press conference? Remember them bragging about that? Well, how the times have changed, huh? Now we're looking at a situation where one of their most prominent game releases have their single-player modes locked behind an online connection, and there is no mention here of the issue or of any plans to resolve this, to mitigate this, to make it so that the DRM only applies to online and multiplayer modes. So I do think that this blog post outlined a lot of positive changes. The intention behind this game is now called into question, and their inability to address DRM concerns makes this update just not as effective as it could have been. All that said, we'll have to wait until April to see just how substantial these updates are. But until then, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the update provided here by Polyphony. Are you satisfied with what they relate here in terms of some of the changes that they plan to make? Are you on the fence? Are you skeptical? Or are you done with GT7 and have you drawn the line in certain places where you think Gran Turismo 7 just lost you after the way the game launched? Let me know in the comments below what your take is on all of this, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.